Hey everybody, Ron Burke, editor-in-chief for Gamingtrend.com here. We are here at Summer Games Fest, and I am here to talk with the Twisted Pixel team. Guys, if you would, introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Phil Therian. I'm the lead designer at Twisted Pixel.
And I'm Matt Schmitz. I'm animation director at Twisted Pixel.
You guys have been making something, a little something in the background. Can you talk a little bit about that? What are we looking at today?
So today you're looking at Deadpool VR, single-player, first-person action game that mixes melee, range, explosives, and parkour combat all together. So really, I think we're making something really special here. We're a kind of game that says yes to the player. We encourage experimentation, and we want players to go around and just jump off the walls, dive down on enemies with their swords, and go, yeah, it's doing something custom. That's what I wanted. It has to be the ultimate Deadpool experience.
Outstanding. So one of the things that people look for when they look at a VR game is kind of what have you built before? So talk to me about your catalog. What have you guys built before?
Yeah, so Twisted Pixel Games been making VR games for a while now. This is our fifth game. We've done Wilson's Heart, Path of the Warrior, Defector. So over the years, we've really honed in on sort of how to make VR games as big of an experience as possible with as minimal motion sickness as possible. And so in this game in particular, there are going to be different settings that a player can set up for level of, complexity with movement. There will be things like tunnel vision and snap turning. But at the same time, even at the highest setting with the most, with the least comfort settings turned on, you're going to have really a very comfortable experience. And so
I play VR a lot, but I suffer from motion sickness. And so we're talking an unfinished game, unoptimized. You guys are still optimizing towards the end of the review or the build cycle. I had no nausea whatsoever.
Wonderful.
Moving to the side, jumping up and down, all that stuff,
yeah.
No problem whatsoever.
That makes me really happy to hear, because that is one of our biggest priorities. We know that can be something that holds a lot of people back from wanting to play VR games, but, hardware has improved over the years, and so have our ways of working with the hardware.
Yeah, the Quest 3 has got to be a big ally for you guys. Just having the kind of the hardware at your fingertips. It's a pretty powerful portable. Mm-hmm. And the clarity of the goggles and everything else just make for a really comfortable experience.
Yeah.
So that's got to be easier for you. So tell me a little about what was it like working on a Deadpool property? I mean, did they give you a manual that says you can do this, but you can't do that? Or did they just say, fuck it, do whatever you want?
So if you look at Twisted Pixel and the DNA of the studio, like you can kind of see that Deadpool's a really good fit for the studio. And I think if anything, we were a little bit cautious about how far to take Deadpool, and we'd be talking to Marvel about it. And oftentimes it'd be, no, go further, like go harder, Deadpool, which has been super fun. And you can see that in the game. It translates into not just the story, but the gameplay also. Like the way that Deadpool solves problem is the way that Deadpool would. It often involves him getting horribly mutilated. And if you put your head in the mind space of I'm Deadpool, I think you have a really fun experience. We're not the kind of game where you find a key card to open a door. We're the kind of game where you crash a Jeep into a helicarrier because you're trying to stop it.
And if you do find a key card, he's definitely going to comment on, I've played 3 games this month that use a damn key card. Why would the developers put the key card in this game? What is wrong with you, Twisted Pixel?
I think Deadpool would use it as a weapon. If he found a key card, like he would just throw it at somebody. Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Ooh, that got sticky. Yeah, that would be amazing. So obviously, you've got this incredible character, Deadpool, the merc with the mouth. Too much mouth, not enough mouth. It's a careful balance, right? So how do you get to the balance where it's like, okay, I just need him to shut up for just a second, or yeah, just keep talking, Deadpool, do your thing. Where's that balance?
Yeah, I think our goal is to where people would want to hear the merc's mouth throughout the game. And so, I mean, we made sure that we wrote the game in a way where it's always interesting. It's never going to be the same couple of comments over and over again. We've got a very thorough story, very thorough cast of characters and voices throughout the game. Neil Patrick Harris, of course, being the voice of Deadpool. He was the guy for our Deadpool. And, we've got a team of writers that have written a really great script, including Joe Kelly, who is a Marvel writer on the comics for Deadpool, actually. And Neil just really brought the character to life the way he reads those lines.
Yeah, he does a great Ryan Reynolds impression. Ryan Reynolds had something to say about that today.
Yeah.
So let's talk about gameplay. One of the things that I really appreciated playing the demo is that no matter what I tried, it kind of works, right? And like, okay, I shoot this guy. All right, now I'm going to throw my guns at him. Oh, let's kind of hone in on them and hit them. And then I threw him one time, then kind of boomeranged back to me. I'm like, okay, that's a total Deadpool thing, right? Or of course I can take my sword and throw it at somebody and pin them to the wall. So what are some of the other things that you can see in the game other than those ones that I mentioned?
Yeah. Well, because you mentioned all those things, we have a long, full game, and we wanted to make sure that players don't get bored with combat throughout the game.
Right, exactly.
And we also want to cater to everybody's gameplay style, so people don't feel like they have to do a certain thing,
Right.
to take down a
Pistols
certain type
only,
of enemy.
yeah.
Right. We didn't want to pigeonhole it. So, in addition to the things that you just mentioned, we've got synced kills and stylish, ways of killing enemies. Really, just about any way you can imagine. You can use your grapple gun to tug an enemy toward you, and you can hold your sword up in the air, and you're going to slice them in half. You can slide underneath somebody holding your swords up, and you're going to cut them, gut their belly open. You can dive kick an enemy with your sword out. Sometimes it'll impale their head, and you can rip it right off their body. Am I leaving anything out, Phil?
One of the things that we wanted to make sure is that it's intuitive, but it also has a lot of room for somebody to master being Deadpool. So you can go around the game and you can shoot people in the head, and that's fine, and that works. But you could really just bounce off the walls, dive with your sword. That's special moves. You can slide underneath guys, like Matt was saying. But not only that, also if you're like, well, I really like my gunplay to be precise, you can use iron sights on weapons. Like, the weapons are super accurate. Like, they work the way that you want them to. So it's a mix of being intuitive, super accessible, but there's tons of depth. Like, when people really want to master the game, they can.
Yeah, so you mentioned having kind of some alternate movements and stuff like that, like being able to run or bounce off the walls. You've also got a wall run mechanic, and he even comments, the Prince of Persia would be proud. So what are some of the other, or is it a surprise? What are some of the other kind of movement mechanics? We talked about sliding, talked about bouncing off the walls. What else are we looking at?
So you've seen most of the fundamental moves. Where the game really shines is in combining those moves and combining them against different enemies. So some enemies will react differently to certain moves. For example, you're sliding towards some of the smaller enemies might just put them off balance. For some of the larger enemies, if you slide between their legs, you might be able to do a special move. Like, for example, we have one in the game where if you get two of your swords out while you're sliding underneath, you can cut his legs off or open up the stomach. Like, there's some really cool stuff you can do. So once you master the fundamentals, then the key is to go experiment in the game and try to see if there's ways where you could exploit enemies. And we try to make that very visual. We also have a whole bunch of pickups that you can get from enemies. So certain enemies will give you weapons. They'll give you limbs sometimes. If you've seen the game, like sometimes your arm gets severed. Yeah. It floats in front of you. We do that for enemies as well. That means pick me up. There's something to do with it. So really, it's like we were saying, the game wants to say yes to the player. When we're playing, if we think it looks cool, we try to allow it in the game.
That's one of the things I enjoy most about VR is that it requires no instruction. I could give this to somebody and just say, have fun, and they'll intuit what they need to do from there. It's like the simplest form of entertainment. Just do whatever comes naturally. And I think you guys have captured that really well in this game. So big thanks to you guys for that. I do have something for you. So if you'll hold on for just a moment here. So we have a very limited number of these, but for the games that we think really blew us away.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
That's incredible. Thank you.
We'd like to nominate you because we think are some of the best things that we've seen here. And I just wanted to present that to you guys on camera and just let you guys know that I think this is an amazing game. I think you guys are on to something. So thank you so much.
That the experience was intuitive to you, that you were able to jump in and have a good time with
it. Yeah, you guys are watching me. I know you were.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much. The big question left is, when are people going to get their own chance to play it? When's the game coming out?
Late 25, so soon.
Yep. But in the meantime, you can wish list the game on MetaQuest store.
Outstanding.
And if people are on the fence about playing a VR game, it's changed a lot. We have really good comfort settings now. So if people are seeing, hey, that's a Deadpool game, it looks cool. Do I want to get into VR? Yeah, get into VR. Now's the time.
Yeah, the fact that I had no nausea with this, that goes a long way. My readers that have read my VR reviews for a long time, they know that my positional VR legs have gotten stronger over time, but I still get pretty sick with VR games. So the fact, again, like I said, you've got a game that's not quite out the door that still already hits that mark. That's amazing. And that's a real testament to your guys' hard work. So thank you for that.
Yeah, love it.
Great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your
Man,
time.
thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
And enjoy the rest of the show.
Honored to have the award.
Thanks so much.